Hi everybody, this is Kelly Berry and we are here from the Helm, literally from the Helm, with MarineMax. I'm sitting here next to VP of Marketing of Ocean Alexander, Sally Doleski. How you doing today, Sally?
I'm doing well. Hi everyone. Thanks for taking time out of your day to chat with us.
Yeah, so we got a lot of things to cover, and why don't we start off with, so where are we? What are we doing here? What is happening? This is such a cool event that's going on. Tell us about, or tell everybody about it.
Yeah, so it is a really difficult job to have, I have to say. We are currently sitting at aboard our new Ocean Alexander 90 Revolution, located here at Ocean Reef Club. It's a fantastic members-only resort and marina, and I believe they have homes here as well in Key Largo. So we're at the top of the Keys, but we've been so blessed with the weather this weekend. We've got over 20 Ocean Alexander owners that have joined us.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and 16 of which brought their boats with them. So it's been a great event so far.
And you see a wide range of boats here. I mean, I've seen the 70E, of course, the 90R. I mean, there's just on both sides of us, literally, some Ocean Alexander yachts, and it's pretty incredible to see them all at one place at one time.
Definitely. So I believe the smallest Ocean Alexander we have here is a 48-foot.
Wow.
Yep, from our earlier days, and then the largest we have is our 120.
Okay.
So you can tell there's quite the range in place.
Quite the range, and especially with one of the boats that we'll be getting to in a little bit. A lot of exciting things happening with Ocean Alexander. Why don't you tell me a little bit briefly about what you do with Ocean Alexander and how it fits into the world of yachting?
Sure. So as VP of Marketing, I basically handle all of the marketing and branding needs, the major events that we host. As a manufacturer, we have 3 major boat shows, the biggest ones in the country, the Lauderdale Boat Show, the Miami Yacht Show, and then the upcoming Palm Beach Boat Show. So as a manufacturer, we actually organize and have direct displays at those instead of relying on our dealers like MarineMax at those shows. We also host the Rendezvous. We have one for our East Coast and our West Coast owners every year. So those are fantastic events. And then obviously, the magazine print ads, the websites, the swag, everything that you see that's got an OA logo on it, I've probably touched at one point or another, some way, somehow.
And I'm sure the online presence too, people are watching online. I mean, a lot of the stuff from Ocean Alexander is done by Sally and her team. So.
Yes, and actually I definitely have to give a shout out to Allison. Allison Goolsby is our social marketing coordinator. She has been with us for 2 years now, and I mean, and you can see, for those of you that follow us online, we're posting daily, Instagram, Facebook. She does these fantastic videos, and she really gives an insight to people that are fans of the brand and owners on what's going on with the business. And, I think having that connection has really helped us in the marketplace as well, and Allison gets all the kudos for that.
For sure, and times are changing a little bit, and, people absorb their content in different ways. I mean, of course you still have the magazines and the flyers and everything that goes into it, but just so many people love to just watch things online now too.
Oh, definitely. So like for example, last night we had our first big group dinner on the beach. It was fantastic. And I think Allison had done an Instagram story, posted it live, just so people can catch a glimpse of what the activity is, how it's going. And we get such a great response from it right away. So, I mean, people love being able to, for example, someone may not have been able to join us and they wanted to see how the event was going. They could take a look.
Yeah, it's kind of a sneak peek into the world, right?
It is.
And that's what we here try to provide to you guys as well with MarineMax is, MarineMax from the Helm. It's a sneak peek into the world of what's going on, what's happening in the world of boating, in the world of yachting. And of course, we're doing it here today with Ocean Alexander. So why don't you give me a kind of, and by the way, I just wanted to say, if anybody has any questions or comments throughout this this video, be sure to leave your comments and we will either answer them live or we'll get back to you afterwards as well. So leave your comments. So the history of Ocean Alexander, why don't you tell me about the history of this company?
Sure. So last year we actually celebrated our 40th anniversary. So the company started in 1978. The original yard is in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, where we are still building Ocean Alexanders. And one of the really unique things about our factory there is that, for those of you that are familiar with boat building history, a lot of the yards in Taiwan were kind of yards in place, and different designers would essentially bring their designs to the yard. They would build all different types of brands there, things like that. Our yard at Ocean Alexander has only ever built Ocean Alexanders. and Ocean Alexander yachts have never been built at another yard in Taiwan besides ours.
Okay.
And I think we're the only manufacturer in Taiwan that can say that. So, you know, it's something to take pride in, and something that's unique, and it lends itself to, I think, the pride that we have in the product, and I think that really shows. I think the people, I've been with the company for 14 years.
Wow.
I know, I started when I was 12.
Wow.
And I think that, you know, you meet a lot of people that will come over from the factory, the higher-ups, during boat shows, and they've all been with the company 20, 30 years plus, and they take pride in being a part of something that is consistent and has, you know, that same identity throughout and stuff. And so I think that's fantastic. So we started out in Taiwan. We are now, that still yard is there. It's expanded greatly. I think they're able to build upwards of 155 in that facility now.
Okay.
And in 2016, we purchased the yard in Merritt Island. And so that's where the 70 Evolution and the 45 Divergence are built, right here in the state of Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's impressive too. I mean, having it, you know, over in Taiwan, but also opening this new one over here with some exciting new models that we will be getting to. So.
Exactly, and there was a lot of reasons why we kind of went into that. So transportation costs on a lot of the smaller boats just became, you know, really high. And you know, when you think about it, it's not like a cargo container that you can stack upon and ship out. I mean, you know, once you put a yacht on a boat, nothing gets stacked above or below it, so you're buying an entire column of goods essentially. So the cost of transporting them gets quite steep. And there was a reason, you know, during the downturn in the market, you know, back in 2008, 2009, we actually stopped building a lot of our smaller boats that were super popular. And that was one of the main reasons. It just kind of became cost prohibitive. And people kind of think, oh, well, it's built in Asia, it should be cheaper. And that's true in some regard, but if you've been on an Ocean Alexander and you're familiar with it, all of our major mechanical components, you know, the appliances, the fridge, you know, everything is actually sourced here in the States. So we then ship it to Taiwan to install it because we need, you know, U.S. warranties, we need U.S., you know, instruction manuals. We're not buying it, you know, from an Asian market.
So you ship it to Taiwan and then
ship it back on the boat.
Exactly.
So, and the thing is that the craftsmen that we use on the boat, you know, we're renowned for our woodwork and our stainless work. I mean, these guys have been at it for 10, you know, 15, 30 years. I mean, there's journeyman wages in Taiwan, just like there's journeyman wages in the U.S.
I'm sure.
So it's like, you know, there's not really that much of a difference in cost of labor. So once the shipping costs got added, it was just, you know, it was a little difficult to kind of get past that hurdle. And then, you know, when the market kind of started coming back in place and, you know, we had this idea to kind of, you know, go back to smaller, this opportunity came available in Florida, and we said, you know what, if we build them here, we cut out the duties, we cut out the transportation costs, it's done right here in the U.S., and we can start building that same pride and that same, you know, ownership, you know, with the staff here in the U.S. for manufacturing. So that's what we did. And
you said, okay, so which boats are currently being manufactured here at Merritt Island now?
The 70E and the 45 Divergence.
Okay, so those two right now.
Yep.
And I'm sure future, you never know.
Yeah, there are definitely plans for something there in the future, and I'm sure we'll mention that again.
Definitely. And well, let's start off. Let's kind of talk about the lineup and the models that you guys carry with Ocean Alexander.
Sure.
So let's start here.
Okay.
Of course, we're sitting here at the 90R. What would you call this? The wet bar, I believe.
Well, it's not. It's a full bar.
It's a full bar. I mean, I wish you could see it from the camera.
I think a wet bar is usually when it's a little smaller and maybe has this thing. No, this is a full bar. This has a refrigerator, ice maker. You've got Sub-Zero drawers. There's a sink. This is a full bar.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, I mean, definitely check us out online. We have some walkthrough videos of this in many other models of Ocean Alexanders. But so, kind of tell me about the idea behind the 90R and the new Revolution line.
Sure. So the 90R debuted at the 2018 Lauderdale Boat Show. We had such a wonderful reaction from it. I mean, we were just slammed at the boat show, to be quite honest. We're sitting aboard Hull 2. Hull 1 went into the show with a contract. The owner had actually signed the contract just on paper without seeing the boat at all, just in design and concept. I think when the boat was about 90% complete, he sent his surveyor and his captain over to the Taiwan yard to inspect it. came back, everything was fine. He stepped on board when it finally landed here in Florida and finalized the deal. So I mean, she went to the show as a sold boat, which was fantastic.
Yep.
So the Revolution series, that's what the R stands for, is we wanted to kind of shake up what we were doing. You know, at every point, a company has to decide whether they just kind of stay in their lane or if they try to broaden their horizons, you know, so to speak. And we really felt that there was a demand in the market for something that was a bit more contemporary than what we were providing in our traditional lineup of yachts, and as far as styling and just the feel of it. And you know, we kind of went and looked at it. At first, you know, Richard Allender is the director of U.S. operations, and Evan Marshall is the designer. You know, they were looking at updating the existing 90 motor yacht, and they were kind of playing around with it, and just within the existing hull, they couldn't achieve what they wanted to do. So the 90R has a vertical plumb bow, which makes the boat look extremely different.
And it looks, I have to say, it looks massive. And you know, when you're walking at a boat show and you see it and looking up at the bow, you're like, this is a ship.
Yeah.
You know, this thing is
exactly.
incredible.
It is massive.
Yes.
But that's allowed us to create an on-deck master for 90 foot, which is very unusual.
Yep.
The VIP on this boat is incredible. I mean, it's.
I have to say, I did hear a few customers walking through saying, "This is the master, right?" And it's like, nope, that's actually the VIP. You have to go upstairs to see the master,
exactly, right? Yeah. So the VIP is incredibly spacious. And then obviously, you know, we've got, I don't think you can see, but actually on the bow, you've got this incredible bow lounge and seating area because of that. And so that's, you know, those are some of the major design differences. And we've gotten questions like, well, with that, you know, vertical bow, how's it run? What actually is under the waterline is what affects how the boat performs. And on this particular model, we worked with Arabito, which is a very well-known naval architecture firm out of Italy. The boat, you know, still, those were like some of the key points in the design process. We want to make sure that it was an Ocean Alexander in terms of handling, you know, sea kindliness.
And they're definitely well-known for that.
Yes, definitely. And you know, fuel efficiencies, even though, you know, she's semi-displacement and, you know, she will get up, you know, on plane, we want to make sure that those were still factors designed into this Revolution series, and they did a great job of it.
Definitely. And it sounds like the Revolution line is going to be growing a little bit, correct?
It will. So some of you may have seen on our website, or, you know, stop by Miami Yacht Show, we have an 84 Revolution that will be debuting at Lauderdale this year, 2019. So mark that on your calendar. And there will be something in another year and a half. I think we're shooting for Miami 2021 for something larger than the 90R.
Exciting.
So the 90 came out, there'll be something smaller, and there'll be something larger. It's definitely a full-on series. It's not just a one-off.
Definitely, and you heard it here, so be sure to stay tuned, and there's some really exciting stuff coming for the Revolution line.
Definitely.
Let's kind of go from 90 to 45.
Okay.
So we have the 45 Divergence line that just debuted. Could you tell us a little bit about this new line of 45s?
Yeah, so I think we caught the market quite off guard with this one. I know that we started putting some advertising, you know, out there with the, you know, it's an outboard. It's, you know, it's got 4 Mercury Verados. It's the first outboard ever designed and built by Ocean Alexander, and I thought a lot of people were like, what are they doing with an outboard, you know, kind of thing. And, you know, honestly, I kind of thought that myself when I first heard about the project. You know, you see it on paper, you understand the concept of it, but I mean, the boat is, it's amazing, it's incredible. And actually, this kind of started almost 3 years ago, because we noticed that there was a trend in the marketplace of larger and larger center consoles. And it wasn't necessarily a larger center console because you want to go out and catch more fish, which is what most people do on, you know, your traditional center consoles. But it was larger so that you could bring more people, bring the family, bring the kids, you know, whatever it may be.
Enjoy the weather. I mean, it's something you can get outside. It
was just an easy boat to handle for a nice day trip. And we saw that happening in the marketplace, and we said, you know what, this might be something that we could, you know, kind of get in on. And especially with the factory building the 70E in Merritt Island, it made a lot of sense to kind of examine the smaller end of the market to see what else can we bring to the marketplace that might attract consumers.
Totally.
You know, because when you have a factory that's just building one boat, you got all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
So, you know,
we have room.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just a smart business plan to kind of, you know, expand your portfolio and make sure that you've got the a plan for longevity in place, you know, because there's people now at that factory that have been with us since the beginning, you know, they live locally, and we want to try and make that factory successful as possible.
Well, and there's definitely a market for outboards, and definitely center consoles, and like you were saying, you know, and especially with the technology that's going into outboards these days, it's just making it so much more worth it to have a center console option too.
Yeah, exactly. And we knew going into that we were never going to like compete head to head with the diehard fishing center console. You know, those kind of brands have been tried and true for years, and we would never try to even, you know, compete against that. But what, you know, we have all of our owners here have multiple boats, you know, and they don't use them as center consoles. They use them as a tender, you know, or, you know, they use them as, you know, they'll get in someplace in the Bahamas and all of a sudden the draft changes to, you know, 3 feet or something. They can't get in with their boats. They need to get in with, you know, with a smaller boat just to get to the hotel or get on site.
Sure.
And in that case, you know, I mean, we're a perfectly viable option for them. And we actually have 3 sea trials set during the Rendezvous from owners, because we brought the 45 here that want to test it out for that reason. And you know, we just see it as, you know, I think Chuck is the one that actually called it a day yacht. You know, it's a fantastic boat to take out. You can bring friends, you can bring family. The cabin underneath allows, you know, younger kids to get out of the weather if they're, you know, too hot. Having the fold-out bulwarks, you know, the patented bulwarks, you know, allows them to really get in the water and enjoy, you know, what they're there for.
And for people that don't know what that is, so could you kind of explain that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. So quite a few boats, like I said, 3 years ago we designed this, and had we been able to get to market with it even 2 years ago, we would have just been really revolutionary in the with the 45 Divergence. So the boat has a beam of 13.9, which is pretty substantial for a 45 center console model. With the pop-out bulwarks, so on both sides, port and starboard of the boat, there's about 4 feet on the in the gunnels that will actually pop out and extend out to a balcony.
Yep.
And when that happens, your beam becomes 19.1 in that cockpit area. I mean, it is just massive amount of space that you get back there.
And that's just lounge mode when you're hanging
totally,
out.
Exactly. And but the thing, what we have that's patented is we actually have our boarding gates built into that fold-out gunnel.
Oh, really? So there's it folds out from inside the
Exactly. So you can actually pop open that boarding gate, and that becomes your dive spot if you want.
That's cool.
And then when the bulwarks are up, instead of always having, you know, sometimes it's awkward getting on the center console, you're stepping over the gunnel, getting in, it's awkward. We actually built boarding gates, both port and starboard side, within that. So you can get off on the boat easily, safely, little kids, older parents, whatever the situation may be.
Yeah, and I have to say, seeing it at the Miami Boat Show, just the fit and finish for one, and just how beautiful the boat is. I remember seeing the renderings, you know, the computer renderings, and I'm like, wow, that's going to be a really cool boat. But seeing it in person at the boat show is, you know, another world. It's amazing. Yeah,
and I think that's also one of our strengths, because we're used to building luxury yachts. You know, we've built, you know, we've got 3 112 owners here at this event. We're used to thinking in that mindset. We just brought that with us to 45. I mean, you know, there's no reason why, just because it's a smaller boat, that you wouldn't add in the details, you know, to the leather, or, you know, make sure that the wood, it looks the way. We use, I mean, it's built at the 70, so we use the same wood, the same stones.
Carbon fiber,
exactly. All as the same that we would do in the 70, and we brought it into the 45. We didn't say, oh, we're going to build a smaller boat, let's put cheaper materials in it. That's not how we went at all.
Yeah, the fit and finish is just outstanding.
And I think that also makes it really appealing to some of the larger yacht owners, because when they step on the smaller boat, they still feel at home. It's not all of a sudden they stepped onto something that's totally a different world.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see you know, a 90R towing a 45 Divergence in the Bahamas or something. I'm sure you'll see it one of these days. It's going to be an amazing sight.
Yeah, no, that would be. That might be a photo shoot I have to coordinate.
So we've talked about the Revolution and the Divergence. You know, what makes the lines different? I know there's a lot. You know, there's the motor yachts, there's the mega yachts. I mean, what are just some of the quickly, I guess, but you know, what are some of the main differences between the different lineups?
Yeah, so obviously, you know, the Divergence lineup is our outboard version. We are going to be debuting a cabin cruiser version of the 45 at Miami next year, and you know, you can't hold me to the numbers, but just like the 90R came out and it was the mid-size and we came out with something smaller and something larger, I suspect the same is going to happen with the 45 outboard.
Ooh,
that the
exciting.
45 might be in the middle, and there might be something larger, something smaller in future lineups. So definitely stay tuned for that one. The Revolution series, you know, those yachts all will have the vertical plumb bow. It's going to have, you know, have more contemporary styling. The larger windows. We've tried to make all the furniture freestanding, gives it more of a penthouse feel.
Oh yeah.
So that's really a hallmark on the Revolution series. And then you have our classic line, you know, our motor yachts, which are, we refer to, so the 70E all the way up to 100 really is our motor yacht line. And those are, you know, our tried and true Ocean Alexanders that we're known for, you know, the beautiful woodwork, a lot of the stainless. And then our mega yachts are the 112s and larger. So it's really kind of a size kind of category that we put for the lines, with the exception of the Revolution, just because of the bow shape.
Okay. And yeah, if you guys want to see any of these boats, definitely check out our YouTube channel at MarineMax, and we have walkthroughs of pretty much a lot of the boats that you've mentioned. So be sure to check those out. So what do you think is the difference for Ocean Alexander versus other boat builders out there? I mean, what's kind of the first thing you think of? What's the difference?
I think a lot of it comes to the fit and finish, like you mentioned. Like I said, our craftsmen, especially at the Taiwan yard, and even with Merritt Island now, because they've been with us, they take a lot of pride in their work. So you'll see the joinery work. You'll see the way that the woods match each other for cabinet closures and on the door panels. All of our drawers in the galley, you know, the drawers themselves are dovetailed, which, you know, can be quite complex to achieve. And so there's a lot of those tiny little things that are hard to pinpoint, but I think it adds to like the overall feel of a yacht. Like you walk on, you're like, I feel good here. I'm not sure why I do, but I do. And it's all of those tiny little details that add up to it.
Yep.
You know, I think that always is one of the main traits that I feel comfortably putting ourselves against any other brand against. And going back to the sea kindliness and the handling capabilities and such, you know, we came out of little Ocean Alexander. The first OAs were little trawlers, or you know, and a lot of them came out of sailboats. So we had that mentality of, you know, being well, you know, easy to handle. You know, yes, it's luxury at this point. You know, it's an amazing place to be. But if you're ever caught out in the open and you see gray coming at you, and you've got, you know, your grandkids on board, we don't want you to worry that you're not going to be safe.
Sure.
You know, so that always, you'll see that we've got safety grab rails in locations that a lot of other yachts will
I have to say, right down this stairway, I was walking and there's just this perfect little grab rail right above you, and people watch it and they're like, hey, that's why that's there. And I'm like, yeah, that thing was perfect. Perfect placement.
All of our cabinets, every latch is it's sea locks. You know, nothing is going to come flying open at you if all of a sudden, you know, you get a nice big wave.
Sure.
You know, there's, as you can see, in all the drawers and everything. So I think those are probably the two most you know, strongest strengths that I would speak of.
Excellent. Well, we could go on and on for hours. I mean, talking Ocean Alexander and boating. You know, do we have any questions from anybody out there?
We have a lot of good mornings.
All right, good morning.
Everybody is very happy to see Kelly and Sally this morning. A lot of great followers on. Brendan Bailey says hello.
Hello, Brendan.
We've got Paul C. says hi.
Hey, Paul.
Hi,
Allison's
Paul.
giving us a shout out.
All right.
Hi from Franklin over in MarineMax Fort Myers is giving us a shout. Joe up in Wrightsville Beach is giving us a shout
Joe
out.
Jackson, how you doing?
We've got Tracy and Shelby are giving us a wave.
Oh, goodness.
So
Hi.
we've got a lot of great people saying hi this morning, and they say they love the boat. One did ask again, which is a great reminder of where can we see the 45 next? Where will she be going to next?
Both the 45 and the 90R that we are on will be at the Palm Beach Boat Show. So that's the next show that you can catch us, and that's just in 2 weeks. Yeah.
And those are they're Seakeeper. They have stabilization, correct?
Yes. Yep. Both. Yeah. The 45 is equipped with Seakeeper gyro system, and that is a fantastic system.
Yeah.
At the Miami Yacht Show, our display happened to be right on the edge, and so we would catch, the cruise ships going through Government's Cut and such. Moving on through, and it would come in through, and our display would be rocking and stuff, and the 45 was just out there. Stationary. It was like you would stay on there to get cool. Give yourself a little break. It was awesome.
Cool. Is there any other questions?
That's what we've got this morning. Everybody, you guys were great. You gave them all the info they needed.
Yeah, well, we definitely will welcome your comments. If you have any comments after the live feed, or just leave your comments in the comments section, and we'll be sure to answer any questions you may have. But I really appreciate it, Sally.
I do have one more question. Just came in. Patrick, our friend Patrick from Yachting, is giving us a shout out this morning.
Hey, Patrick.
And he wants to know what differentiates the fishing and diving version of the 45.
Okay, well, that's actually a great question.
Yeah.
So in order to put it online, just to show the options, we had to call it a fishing and a dive version. But honestly, it's just the 45 Divergence, and we have a whole plethora of options. So it comes standard with 4 rod holders in the gunnel, just as standard. If you wanted to add a live well and add extra rod holders, we have the option of adding e-riggers even to the hard top. We could turn some of the storage boxes. We add freezer plates. We add rod holders. That kind of is the fishing version, but it's not an official version of it. It's really just what you want, however you want to spec out your boat.
Yeah.
And same with the dive. So instead of having a live well in the transom storage, you would have tank storage. And instead of, you wouldn't put freezer plates in your boxes. It would just be nice, big, deep boxes to, store all your snorkel gear and however you may choose the boat. And maybe you're half and half. Maybe you're a husband that likes to fish sometimes, but your wife wants to be able to take the kids out and have some fun with them. So maybe you add a live well tank and a couple extra rod holders, but you still leave a storage for the scuba gear stuff.
Sure.
So it's got incredible flexibility that can really accommodate everyone's needs.
Yeah, incredible boat. If you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out as it makes its continuation elsewhere. So
yeah, definitely. It'll be with MarineMax. So after the Palm Beach Boat Show, reach out to your local MarineMax dealer if you missed it to find out the next boat show it'll be at.
And of course, check out the Palm Beach Boat Show, which is coming up soon.
Yes, definitely. Honestly, it's one of my favorite shows.
Oh, it's a beautiful show. Yeah, it's great. So, well, thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you next month on From the Helm with MarineMax. Thanks again, Sally with Ocean Alexander.
Thank you.
You all have a great day.
Bye.